Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. Welcome to the reaction show to tonight's 1-1 draw of Atletico Madrid in the Champions League semi-final first leg. First things first. Can you get into the comments? Let me know if I need to know if this is working or not. Because yesterday I tried to do a stream and the comments didn't come in. I don't know what was going on. Yes, I've already seen one. There's one from Ash. So we do have the comments. The comments are working, so all is well. We can have a good reaction show for 25, 30 minutes, however long this goes. As you can see, I'm at my dad's house tonight. I've been watching the game here with him. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about after that. I can see loads of you in the chat, which is great. Thank you very much for joining. We'll have a good old sort of post-mortem from what we've seen tonight. And I'm so angry. I'm really, really angry. I might not sound it or look it because I'm laughing. I just can't believe. I cannot believe what I've seen there in that second half from VAR. It's an absolute joke. But look, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. In terms of the game, in terms of the result, I don't think that's a bad result for Arsenal. Going to Atletico, going to Metropolitano, drawing 1-1. You know, it could have been better. Obviously, we got ourselves in front. I thought the first half was good from Arsenal. I thought they played well. They controlled the game. They took the sting out of Atletico. I thought Atletico were poor, to be honest, in the first half as well. But Arsenal really got a lot of control in that game. The type of control we haven't really seen from them for a fair while. And I thought they played well, and they got the reward with the goal at the end. Good play from Gyökeres to win the penalty. Nice little sort of move from Arsenal to get the ball into Gyökeres. He got in front of his man. Good centre-forward play. Got the penalty and slammed it in. 1-0. Great. All good. Second half was obviously different. Atletico were much better in the second half. It helped that they got the goal relatively early. Again, I know the European rules are different to the Premier League rules and all of that. But, I mean, how that can be a penalty, I just don't know. They've got to sort this rule out because it's an absolute joke. The guy has sliced a shot that's basically going out to hit the corner flag. Ben White has no idea where the ball is. His arm's just there because he's stretched out to block a shot. The guy's mishit the shot. And so it hasn't gone towards Ben White's legs like Ben White was expecting. It's just hit his hand that, you know, just naturally coming in towards his body. And they get a penalty. They get a free shot of goal from 12 yards for the guy basically completely miscuing a volley and smacking it into Ben White's hand, who has no idea about it. And you get a penalty for that, which is a joke. And obviously that changed the momentum of the game. And for the next sort of 20, 25 minutes, Atletico were on top. Arsenal got a bit messy for the only real time in the game, that sort of 25 minutes. And they had to ride their luck a little bit there. Obviously, Griezmann at the bar. Lookman had a really good chance that he should have done better with as well. So Atletico could have got themselves in front during that period. I like the way Arsenal finished the game. I thought the triple change, and we've seen Arteta do this a few times this season. It hasn't really worked. I thought it worked this time. It was kind of combined with the fact that Alvarez went off for Atletico as well. I think that tipped the game back towards in the balance of Arsenal. I thought they ended the game pretty well for the last sort of 20 minutes or so. And they should have got their reward with a penalty. I mean, it's just a penalty. When that is given on field, it's soft, yes, maybe. But when that is given on field and Eze gets the ball first, and the defender doesn't get the ball, and he gets Eze, and Eze goes down, and that's given on field, there is no way that should be overturned. No chance at all. That is re-refereeing the game. It's clear and obvious error. No chance. I genuinely still now, I'm stunned that has got overturned. You just do not see that sort of thing happening. And the fact it took so long as well, the ref had about 15 looks at it at the replay, or 13 looks at the replay, I think, shows that he wasn't sure about it. He was quite content, I think, with his own decision. And VAR has got involved in a game that it should never, ever have got involved in and re-ref the game. And has absolutely done Arsenal out of it. Look, they might not have scored the penalty. Who knows? Oblak's in goal. He's a very good keeper. He might have saved it. We'll never know. But for that to be overturned, honestly, I just think it's a staggering decision. Simeone basically refereed that game in the second half. He basically refed the game. The ref was weak, got involved. It was, I mean, the TNT reporters at the pitch side at Keown, McManaman and Gerrard were there. Basically, it was a performance from Simeone. And it worked. I mean, look, fair play to him. Home advantage, all that sort of thing. As if you're the manager, if you're Simeone, you've got to try and do everything you can to put pressure on the referee, and it worked. But the referee needs to be stronger than that. He needs to be stronger than that in the first hand when he gives that decision and VAR somehow, for whatever reason, decides to get involved in it. He needs to look at that and say, you know what, on the field, I think that's a penalty. There's not enough in there to overturn it. And then he needs to be able to ignore the performance that was going on from Simeone. I'm so annoyed about it still. So annoyed about it because who knows how important that's going to be. You know, it's all to play for, obviously, in the second leg. I think a draw is probably a fair result, to be honest. I think Arsenal just about shaded it, but that for that sort of 25-minute period that Atletico had at the start of the second half and the chances they created, you know, I think they would have felt pretty hard done by if they'd have lost the game as well. So I'm not questioning the result in terms of the balance of the play and who deserved what. But I'm staggered by what I've seen from the VAR decision there. I just don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Still, at the time of recording, of starting the stream, I haven't seen comments yet from Arteta. So I'm going to see what he's going to have to say. What's happening now? Simeone apparently is not happy with Ben White because Ben White walked over the Atletico logo on the pitch and it's all kicked off in the tunnel. I'm just seeing a video of it now, honestly. How ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? I had no idea. Anyway, we haven't had comments yet from Mikel Arteta. Here we go. Oh no, I've got a quote here. I feel extremely disappointed because it's against the rules. You cannot overturn that decision after watching it 13 times. It's unacceptable and changes the course of the tie. That cannot happen at this level. He's right. You know, rival fans, everyone like that, always go, oh, he's moaning. But he is absolutely right in this situation. You can't overturn that. You just can't overturn it. It's a staggering decision from VAR, and it's really, really weak from the referee. As you can tell, I'm pretty angry. Anyway, should we get into your comments? Let's see who's here. Ash is in agreement with me. We got scammed, Charles, says Ash. Good to see. Shane on the chat as well. Chris says, I'll gladly take the result. And you're right, Chris. You know, it's not a bad result, that, for Arsenal. 1-1, start of the tie, I'd have taken that all day long. And I'll still take it now. You know, it's all to play for. It's going to be tough in the second leg. It's all set up for a huge, huge night at the Emirates next week. But it's just that lingering thing that is always going to nag away at the back of certainly my mind. It's like, why have Arsenal not been given the opportunity to get a shot at goal for 12? When you look at those two incidents and you think that Atletico have got a penalty from a ball accidentally being sliced into someone's hand who knows nothing about it, and they get a penalty for that, and Arsenal don't get a penalty for what was awarded at the other end, is just ridiculous. Joke of a decision. As a Game 8795 says, Simon, like me, is not happy with the ref. Good to have you all in the chat, people. Who we got here? Smeekins is on the chat as well. Zach is in the chat. Happy to have you here, everyone. I will do the proper reaction show tomorrow with ratings and everything like that, so keep your eyes peeled for it. Jake says, Arsenal's second penalty was the softest of contact, but as there is contact, it's given on the pitch, VAR should not get it. That's exactly it. It is a soft penalty. I'm not doubting that, but it's given, and Eze gets to the ball first. The defender doesn't. He treads on Eze's foot. Eze has every right to go down in that situation. Every right to go down. The ref gives a penalty. It has to be a penalty. It really, really does. RY911 is on the chat. Ollie's on the chat. Good to have you here, Ollie. Nepal says, Charles, we were robbed. We were robbed. Absolutely. Yeah, this is interesting from Henry. Says, no penalty, no red card, no consistency. I really thought that there was a strong case for a red card for Arsenal's first penalty, because it's Hanko, wasn't it? He doesn't make any attempt to play the ball in that situation. Gyökeres gets goal side of him. He's inside the penalty area. He's right in front of goal, right in front of Oblak. And Hanko doesn't make any attempt to play the ball, and he fouls him. I just think, is that not a goal scoring opportunity? Surely that was a clear goal scoring opportunity for Gyökeres. So I just don't. He didn't even get a yellow card. I'm really, really surprised that wasn't. Well, in my view, I was looking at it. I was thinking, is that not a red card? Have I seen something wrong? And no one really talked about it. The commentators didn't talk about it. No one mentioned it. But for me, I felt that was a red card. Lots of anger, obviously, in the chat on the penalty decision. Armored Phoenix, 25 says pretty happy with the game. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the game. In terms of the performance, I thought it was a good, solid away performance from Arsenal against a good team in a ground where Atletico we know are very, very strong. I thought Arsenal were very professional in the way they approached the game. They were very, very good in the first half in terms of taking the sting out of the game. When I saw the starting lineup, I was, oh no, it's that front three again of Madueke, Gyökeres, and Martinelli. I thought Gyökeres had a fine game in the first half. He wasn't brilliant or anything, but I thought he had a good game. He did one really, really good bit of play down the channels where he put the ball across. I think it was Odegaard who probably took an extra touch when he should have tried to get a shot away a little bit earlier. In the end, the defender made a really good block, but I thought that was really, really good from Gyökeres. I thought it was really good centre forward play from him to win the penalty as well. And obviously, when he got the penalty, you absolutely back him to score. Watching the replay, I think Oblak might be a little bit disappointed, but it's just the way that Gyökeres strikes those penalties. He hits them so hard that it's very, very hard for the keeper, even if he goes the right way, just because of the trajectory and the pace and power that Gyökeres gets on the ball. But maybe Oblak will be a little bit disappointed that it kind of went through his hands in the end. I thought Madueke, there was some bright moments from him at times. Martinelli worked hard. So although it's a front three that I really don't like seeing, and I don't think it works for Arsenal, I thought today that was one of the better performances from the three of them, certainly in the first half anyway. Arsenal lost control of the game in the second half early on, and then Mikel made the changes, and I did think the changes worked, to be fair. But overall, look, I think it's a good result. It's a fair result, and it's not a bad result for Arsenal from a point of view. And there'll be favourites going into the second leg because of that, but it's still, it's all to play for. It's set up perfectly. Who we got here? George from Florida is here. Says, we got robbed, period. Well played, the Arsenal. 4J says, Eze was electric, but kept giving the ball away. Yeah, I liked Eze when he came on. It was fun. It was exciting. The thing with Eze, he will give the ball away because he tries things, doesn't he? He tries things, whereas a lot of the other Arsenal attackers, they won't really try anything that's a little bit risky or anything like that. Eze will, and so he will give the ball away. It's like Alexis Sanchez when he played for Arsenal. There's always, at the end of games, you'd be like, oh, Sanchez lost possession 20 times, 25 times. But it's because he tried things and no one else really tried. And Eze will do that. So he will give the ball away. But yes, Adam in the chat says, don't know how they've re-ref that. Zach says, much better performance. Wingers still struggling, and it's a penalty on Eze end of. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm afraid. But you said, Charles, good result, very controversial penalty. But in the end, I think it's good for the game that these are not given. I don't know. For 35 years of me going to football and watching football, that just is a penalty all day long. You see him given constantly. The attacker gets to the ball first, the defender's late, he gets the attacker, doesn't get the ball. It's just a penalty. You've seen it forever. That's always a penalty. And yeah, I still can't believe it. George says, thanks for the daily show. It's always a therapy. No worries at all. Thank you thanks for watching. 4J says, ref buckled under the pressure. Going to go through a few more of your comments now. A lot of people talking about the pressure. Ollie says, is Tuesday the biggest Emirates game ever? No, I wouldn't say it's the biggest Emirates game ever. We had Man United in the semi-final, second leg, didn't we? That didn't go well. We need to start next Tuesday a lot better than we started that game. And I mean, look, Fulham's just equally as big this weekend, in my view. We just need to. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I cannot wait for the game next Tuesday now. Even today in the build-up to this game, I kept having to remind myself at times, is like Arsenal playing the Champions League semi-final tonight, because all the focus has been on the Premier League, certainly for me anyway. But next week and now after that as well, I can't wait for Tuesday night. The Emirates is going to be bouncing. It's a huge opportunity for Arsenal, going into a second leg of the Champions League semi-final at home, not behind after the first leg like we were against United. Obviously, we're trailing 1-0 at that point, so we're always kind of behind the 8 ball. Tuesday's different. We're level pegging at home where we're strong. We're beating Atletico 4-0 already this season. Wait and see if Alvarez makes it. It'd be very handy from an Arsenal point of view if he doesn't, because he went off injured, obviously. So wait and see how he is. If he doesn't play, that'll be a big, big boost for Arsenal. DJ Ash is in the chat. Good to have you here as always. So I'm angry, Charles. How is that clear and obvious for it to be overturned? Yeah, I don't know. Insane Hussein says ref allowed a lot of contact in the second half. S Sox Fox says, given the chances Lookman had, lucky to get out of their level. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think it was a fair result, I think, because I think Arsenal shaded the game. But for that sort of 25-minute period where Atletico sort of rode the momentum from getting the penalty and then had the momentum and the crowd behind them and the chances they created in that little spell when Griezmann hit the bar and Lookman had that really, really good opportunity that he put straight at Raya. And he probably could have gone down, to be fair, after Ben White's challenge there, but he didn't. He stayed on his feet and got his shot away. And if it had gone down, I think that's a definite penalty for them as well. So I think it is probably a fair result, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm still so frustrated about what I've just seen in that second half. As is Arjit here. He says, so frustrated with a pathetic ref call. That should have been a penalty, but a decent performance, especially first half. We held on for a draw at the end. Griezmann post hit had me on the ropes. Paul is here from Swindon. Said, hi, Charles Gooner from Swindon. Good to have you here, just down the M4, obviously. Shane says, I enjoyed the performance to an extent. 1-1. Let's get back home. Ref lost his head. Nonindino says, Arteta talking now, fuming, is he? I really want to find his quotes. I haven't seen his full quotes yet. Arteta, I am very upset. It's unacceptable to see the penalty overturned. Let's see if we've got any more. He says it was against the rules and I don't understand it. Still not got the full quotes. I think that's probably these quotes. Oh God, I'm just seeing it. The video of it again. Just seeing the video of it again. I wonder if you guys can hear me. I've got Arteta's. Let's see if I can get some of this. Extremely disappointed. It's against the rules and it changes the context of the tie. Very, very upset. Yeah, I'm sure he is. Let's see what he has to say in the media, the written section of the press conference. Asra says, very good game. So proud of the boys, will be in the final 200%. 200%. Let's wait and see. Mitch says, I'll take the result. We go at them at our own ground. Manush, not a fan of Ben White, says, shouldn't be near the starting 11 again. I don't know. I didn't think Ben played particularly poorly today. I thought he got away with one a little bit with the penalty. Well, with when Lookman didn't go down for the penalty, I think it was, there's nothing he can do for the penalty that was awarded, Ben White. There's nothing he can do. The ball just gets sliced into his hand. He doesn't deliberately handball it. So you can't blame Ben White for that. But look, obviously, I would much prefer at the moment Duran Timber is back fit, but he's not fit at the moment. So there's nothing. It's either Mosquera at right back or Ben White at right back at the moment. I didn't think Ben White I didn't think Ben White did anything too wrong today. Zed Bout says dreadful cool. Mason says first half was so much better than what we've seen. Second half was nervy once they scored, I think, but that may have been more momentum to them than us being bad. No pen is a travesty. I think it is. Look, it's a semi-final of Champions League. You're playing away at Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano. You're going to have spells where you're under pressure, and the goals change games. Obviously, you see that. And as soon as they got that penalty, everyone was up. You had 70,000 Atletico Madrid fans all up for it and really going and driving the team forward. So you have to survive that spell. And, Arsenal had a bit of luck. They rode their luck in that little spell. They could have easily been behind, but that's going to happen. So I just think that rather than Arsenal being really, really poor in that situation, I just think it was the fact that Atletico got their tails up, which was going to happen at some point in the game. But I like the way Arsenal ended the game. I like the fact that they got over that period and then took control again for the last sort of 20 minutes, or certainly last 15 minutes. Again, I think the triple sub played a big part in that, as did Alvarez going off, who obviously is a real threat for them. So I've clearly not noticed this watching the replay, but a few people keep saying it was deflected onto Ben White's hand as well. I didn't notice that from the replay. When I watched it, I thought it just went straight into his hand, but clearly quite a lot of people are saying it was a deflection. Which obviously in the Premier League means that's not a handball anyway. But as we saw last night in the Bayern PSG game with the penalty that the PSG got in the first half, which was just ridiculous. And that took a deflection onto his hand from point blank range, and yet that's given. I mean, teams should not. You should not be allowed to have a free shot at goal from 12 yards for an incident like what we saw yesterday and what we saw today. It's ridiculous. It's far too harsh a call. UEFA have to change it. They have to change it and go in line with what the Premier League are doing, because it's just ridiculous. You cannot. Why should a team like the Atletico player, I'm not sure who it was today, he got his shot all wrong. He sliced it. It was going for a corner. It was just really poor technique from him. And yet he gets rewarded with a penalty because the ball that he sliced and miscued accidentally hit someone's hand who's about 3 yards away, who has no idea the ball's even there. And yet they get a penalty for him basically mucking up his shot. It's just ridiculous rules. It's ridiculous rules. You can't have that. You can't have that. Jazzy says, what happened to Saka? Saka needed, I mean, that pitch was a real struggle in terms of how slippery it was. Saka came on and honestly, he couldn't keep his foot in. I think the first thing he did was fall over. I mean, it's hard coming into the game. I didn't think he played too badly. He gave away the ball a couple of times, but I think the game was, the triple sub was made at a time when Atletico were on top, and the pace of the game was, and the press that Atletico was sort of putting on Arsenal at that time, it's quite hard to come in. It's like Trossard as well, sort of really struggled to get up to the pace of the game for the first sort of 5-10 minutes he was on the pitch. And I think the same could be said of Saka, but both of them in the end, I thought, actually finished the game playing pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, again, lots of people talking about the refs sort of buckling under the pressure. I mean, I don't get that. We are not winning this competition and making it to the final. We'll absolutely fall flat on our face. How do you know that? Seriously, how do you? It's 90 minutes of football. Would Arsenal be the favourites against PSG or Bayern Munich? No. Would I be massively confident they'll win that game? No. But they could. They absolutely could. They've already played, they comprehensively beat Bayern earlier on in the competition. So they could absolutely win it. It's a 90-minute game of football. Chelsea, under Roberto Di Matteo, went to Bayern Munich and won the final at their own ground at the Alliance, having Bayern, I think Bayern had about 30 shots in that final. Chelsea hung in there and they won that game. Anything can happen in a final. It's football. Anything can happen. So I don't really buy into that at all. If it's all about, obviously we've got to get to the final first, but Arsenal could absolutely win it. Once you're in this competition, once you're in the final, you can absolutely get in it. Diego said we should really try and sign Alvarez. I agree. I really want him. I absolutely do want him. George asked if Arsenal can complain about the referee. I don't know. I mean, they could. You can put in, and I'm sure you can. Whether they will, I highly doubt it. What's that? What good's that going to do now? It's not. I mean, Arteta will know well. We've seen him in his immediate post-match interviews. He's had a go, and he will have a go. He'll have another go in the written section of the press conference. Of course, he will. But I doubt they'll do anything official on it. We'll have to wait and see on that. Golden says, I hope Hincapie's performance will now change your opinion between him and Calafiori. Hincapie's been immense the last two games. I thought he was great against Newcastle. I thought he was great tonight as well. Kind of like Eze. I think of all the players at the moment who are kind of playing, who seem to be reveling in the pressure of this title race and everything like that, where a lot of the players, it kind of looks like they've got weight on their shoulders. Eze doesn't look like that. And I don't think Hincapie looks like that as well. I think he's really he's really getting into it, and he's playing with a kind of freedom that a lot of the players others. So look, he's been great, Hincapie. There's no doubt about it. I still want to see Calafiori on the pitch at times, but I think after the last couple of performances of Hincapie, I think it'd be very, very hard to drop him. I do. So yes, there you go. Maybe it has changed my performance a little bit, my opinion of him a little bit. Caleb then is talking about that, saying, well, do you see Calafiori getting back in the team? We clearly need that unpredictable element in attack. I think, look, the fact that he didn't come on tonight, did he, Calafiori? He didn't come on tonight, no. And he didn't come on against Newcastle either, did he? So I'd like to see him getting some minutes off the bench at the moment, at least when he's sort of looking to change the game. Because I think there's absolutely, he can come on and change the game. You think when he came on in the second half of the Carabao Cup final, that was when Arsenal had their best period of the game. So he's a good impact player. If you're not starting him, I definitely want to see him used between now and the end of the season. But I do think the way Hincapie is playing makes it very, very hard to drop him at the moment. There's so many of you in the chat. I'm not going to be able to get through everyone at all. But thank you very much, everyone, for being involved. Who else we got here? We got one from FN3274. Thank you very much for the support there. That you say Zubi and Rice are slow and affect the pace of the game. Can you ask Arteta why we don't shoot? Why are we so impotent and slow up front? I thought Rice was brilliant today. I thought Rice had a fantastic game. Really, really good. I thought Zubendi had a good game as well, to be fair. I thought both of them in midfield. I thought there was a period at the start of the second half when Atletico got on top, and I think the pair of them struggled a little bit maybe to get a bit of control in that game. But I think that was more down to Atletico than it was to Arsenal. I did think it was Zubendi. There was one bit when Lookman had a shot that Raya saved, and then eventually it sort of came back out. And I thought Zubimendi was weak in the challenge with Griezmann, and Griezmann got the ball and he had a shot at goal that took a deflection off Gabriel, went behind for a corner. At that point, I looked at Zubimendi. I was like, "Oh, you've got to be stronger in that situation." But overall, I thought he had a pretty decent game, to be fair. And I thought Rice was great. I don't know who got man of the match in the end. I haven't seen who got man of the match, but I thought Rice was really good. So I think that's a bit harsh, really, when he's saying affect the pace of the game. And I thought the pair of them were contributed to a really good Arsenal performance on the whole today. While we're so impotent and slow up front, I think a lot of that is down to the players we've got up front at the moment, to be honest. And yeah, what we've done in the transfer market in the summer didn't really fix that, unfortunately, like we hoped it probably would do. But look, I don't want to criticise Arsenal today because I thought Arsenal played well. I thought it was a good performance in a really big game away from home at a really tough ground. And I thought overall they played very, very well. We've got another one here from 4JJAs. Thank you very much for the support. You say slightly worried. My slight worry is a nervous Emirates second leg. Yeah, well, it could be nervous, obviously. It's a semi-final and there's all to play for. But look, the place will be bouncing next Tuesday. And it's down to the players then to thrive off that and get themselves in a position where it's not going to be nervy. So, yeah, I can't wait. I think the Emirates is going to be absolutely bouncing. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be a great atmosphere down there. Everyone's going to be up for it. So I'm not too worried about it being too nervy. The only way it's nervy is if the players then put in a really sort of dodgy performance and it gets very, very tight. But if the players can feed off the crowd, I think Arsenal are good enough to ensure that it's not a nervy game next week. If they've just got to play well, play to their best. And I know at the moment, in the last 2 or 3 months, they haven't played that well. But if they can play to their strengths, I think they're too good for this Atletico side. I really do believe that. Got another one here from O'Malley. Thank you very much for the support. O'Malley, you say no Alvarez next leg. He's a baller. Need him in the summer. Creates chaos, but with end product. Yeah, I want Julian Alvarez. He is top of my list, I have to say. And if he isn't playing next week, and obviously we'll wait and see what the injury was that forced him off today in the second half. But if he isn't playing next week, that's a big blow to Atletico, no doubt about that, because he is top draw. He really is. Thought he was great tonight on the ball, and his that free kick that he had in the second half. God, I thought that got in. I really did. Thank you very much for the support. Appreciate that. Another one, not too happy with Zubimendi. Says lacks that vertical quick passing. Aside from the chance of the penalty, I don't think he did much. His legs just look gone. I don't know. I thought it was interesting as well in the first half how Rice was very much playing as a 6 in the first half, dropping in, taking the ball off the defenders and going forward. It was like they swapped roles a lot for this game, I thought, certainly in the first half. And Zubimendi was kind of playing and linking up a little bit further forward, further up the pitch. And it was his play that led to the penalty award when Gyökeres beat his man. So I thought he had quite a good game, to be honest, Zubimendi. Revy says, what do you think of the triple sub? It was a bold move. When he made it, I have to say, I said to my dad, I was like, I don't like him doing this because he's done it a couple of times this season. It hasn't really worked. It hasn't impacted the game, but I think it did impact the game today. I thought Arsenal got control back of the game after the triple sub. Again, I do think Atletico losing Alvarez at a very similar time as the triple sub had a big impact as well. But I thought that front three, after they got into the pace of the game, because initially they didn't, and they lost the ball a couple of times. Saka did, Trossard did. But then they got into the pace of the game. And I thought Arsenal then started to play the game in the Atletico half for the last 15, 20 minutes. They got the penalty decision before it was overturned. And most of the game was played in the Atletico half. So I think the triple sub did work. I think Jesus, when you look at his numbers, he had more touches than Gyökeres in the time that he was on the pitch. It was only about 20 or so minutes. And that's what you get when you bring those sort of players on. Trossard, Saka, Gyökeres compared to, Trossard, Saka, Jesus compared to Madueke, Martinelli and Gyökeres. they're much more high touch players, aren't they? They can play better with their back to goal than the other three can. The other three are runners, which is why I don't really like them playing together. I don't really think it works. But the other three are much more comfortable playing with their back to goal, and they can link up play better than them. And I think that did help Arsenal get control. So I thought it was a good triple sub in the end. I thought it worked. Jack says that block from Gabriel needs to be talked about. World class. Yeah, it was really important as well that he kept his arms by his side as well, because in this competition, as we found out for their goal, you just get a penalty for absolutely anything. So yeah, I thought it was good from Gabriel, of course. Kwame says if we get to the finals, we will pull it off. Neither PSG or Bayern can put 4 or 5 against Arsenal. Well, famous last words. We'll wait and see on that. Isak says Atletico have a poor record defending corners. We're great at attacking them. We need more next week. Well, I certainly think we'll get plenty more set pieces next week than we did today. No doubt about it. Yeah, Si's agreeing with me here, saying Rice was unreal tonight. Yeah, I thought that as well. I thought Rice was certainly my man in the match, Declan Rice, no doubt about that in my mind. I thought he had a very, very good. I thought he had a very good game. Expats everywhere. Hello, mate. Good to have you on the chat. You say I don't think the Emirates will be nervous. That's a league thing. I agree. I don't think it will be nervous. Obviously, the game could make it nervous depending on the game state and how it goes, but I don't think. I think there's going to be a very, very different feel to that game, going to the stadium, walking into it and everything pre-match. There's going to be a very different feel to that than there would be against Fulham, for example. I think you're right. I think the league thing is completely different. It's just there's so much tension, anxiety, everything to do with the Premier League. I haven't felt that in the Champions League at all. Any of the games all season. I don't think we will next week. I think that everyone will be up for it. It's just a bit of I think everyone just feels a little bit freer in the Champions League this season because there isn't just that horrible weight hanging over us like there is in the Premier League. So I'm not too worried about the crowd next week. I think it's going to be really, really good. Lawrence very happy with Nketiah, says he's thriving under the pressure. Yes, I tend to agree. I think he's having a very, very good one. Okay, just seeing they're going to get. Right, I think I'm gonna head off now, guys, because it's been over half an hour and I'm at my dad's. I need to drive home and get home for this one. So I think I'm gonna head off now. Like I said at the start, obviously the reaction show will take place tomorrow morning, as always. Get your views in the comments below underneath this video or underneath the video I posted this morning. I'll pull some of them together as always and get them included in the show. But I'm going to head off now. Thank you very much as always for joining in, enjoying the chat. Thank you. I hope you had a good evening. Hope this has been a good way to end the night after the game today. I'll see you all tomorrow. And yeah, hope you sleep well wherever you are around the world tonight. All to play for next week. It's going to be a massive, massive night at the Emirates next Tuesday. Arsenal 90 minutes away from the Champions League final. Just got to win next week and it'll be job done. All right, take it easy, everyone. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.